All right. Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely. Always ready to dig in.
Well, today we're tackling a story that, honestly, a lot of you have been asking about. It's a wild one. The whole Hawk Tuah Girl thing, Haley Welch, the HK coin, and all the controversy.
Definitely a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, and to help us break it all down, we've got some great articles from the BBC, Rolling Stone, and even NBC News. And, well, the big question is, how did this all happen? How did, what was it, a catchphrase? Turn Haley into, like, this crypto icon. And what does her story tell us about the world of meme coins?
Well, I think what's really fascinating is just how fast everything happened. Haley's rise, the HK coin's downfall, it was like a blink and you miss it kind of thing. Makes you think about how quickly things change online, especially when you throw crypto into the mix.
Right. Like, it's one thing to go viral, but to have a whole cryptocurrency tied to your name, that's next level. So before we get into all the drama with the crash and everything, can we just back up a sec, remind everyone what meme coins even are? I mean, the sources you sent mentioned Doji and Muding, but for people who aren't, like, deep in the crypto world, what makes these things so popular, especially with Gen Z?
Okay, so think of meme coins almost like inside jokes that suddenly become valuable.
Yeah.
They're driven by social media hype and this fear of missing out. FOMO. It's this whole thing about belonging, being in the know, and maybe making a quick buck in the process. And Gen Z, they live online. This whole meme coin thing, it's basically their native language.
Like their playground, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Haley, she goes viral with her Hawk Tuah video, builds this huge platform, even lands interviews with people like Mark Cuban on her podcast. And suddenly, she's the face of a brand new meme coin. You even saw her throwing the first pitch at a Mets game.
Yeah.
Talk about a glow up. From Hawk Tuah to mainstream recognition, just like that.
It was pretty remarkable.
Was this the perfect storm for disaster?
Well, it certainly had all the ingredients. Remember, you sent over those articles about how she built up this whole empire. The podcast, guests like Mark Cuban, the dating app.
Yeah.
It made her the perfect spokesperson for HOK, at least at first.
Right.
They launched on the Solana blockchain, and boom, HOK's value just skyrocketed. It almost hit $500 million at one point.
Whoa, $500 million. That's insane. But then the crash, and we're not talking about a little dip here. The sources mentioned it plummeted by like over 95% within hours.
Yeah.
There's even a story about this one investor who bought a ton of HOK for almost $1 million and then flipped it a few hours later for a profit of $1.3 million. What does that tell us about how this whole thing was set up?
Yeah, that's where those pump and dump allegations start to come into play. The YouTuber, CoffeeZilla, his real name is Steven Findeisen, he did this whole deep dive, accusing Haley and the team behind HOK of basically orchestrating the whole thing.
Okay, so time for a Crypto 101 moment.
Sure.
For those of us who don't spend all day on crypto Twitter, how does a pump and dump actually work?
So essentially, it's all about artificially inflating the price of a cryptocurrency.
In this case, HRK.
Exactly. They do it through hype, Maybe some misleading information, get people excited, maybe use someone like Haley with a huge following, and all these investors rush in, buy up the coin, which drives the price way up. And then the people who planned it all, the insiders, they sell off all their holdings at the peak, make a killing, and leave everyone else holding the bag.
Ouch. So CoffeeZilla is saying that's exactly what happened with HRK, that Haley was in on it.
Well, in his videos, he presents quite a bit of evidence, blockchain analysis and things like that, suggesting something shady was definitely going on. Like, people connected to the project were selling large amounts of HRK, basically right from the start.
But, and this is where things get really interesting, Haley denied selling any of her tokens, blamed the crash on sniper bots, those things that buy and sell automatically. She even posted on X saying her team didn't sell a single token. Did anyone believe her?
There was definitely a lot of skepticism, especially once people started digging into the blockchain records themselves. It looked like some team members, even those who got HWK for free, were selling off their holdings. And remember, you sent me articles about how a lot of people, especially those who were new to crypto, invested based on Haley's recommendations. They felt really betrayed.
Yeah, I can imagine that feeling of like, wait, I trusted you?
Exactly.
So this whole thing leads us to the lawsuit, right?
Yeah, so there were 16 plaintiffs who said they lost about $151,000 in total. They filed a lawsuit against the creators of HK. Over Here Limited, the company behind it, its founder, Clinton. So something called the Tuah the Moon Foundation, and even another influencer, Alex Larson Schultz, who was promoting HWK.
Hold on, wait. So if Haley wasn't named in the lawsuit, does that mean she's off the hook?
That's a good question. She wasn't named as a defendant, but her role in promoting the coin, the fact that she owned a big chunk of it, it definitely raises some eyebrows.
For sure. So what are they actually accusing these guys of doing?
They're saying that HHK was an unregistered security, meaning it should have been registered with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. And to try and prove that, they're using something called the Howey test.
Okay, back to Crypto 101. What in the world is the Howey test?
So it's this legal test that they use to figure out if something is an investment contract, which means it falls under securities laws. Basically, it comes down to whether someone invests money expecting to make a profit based on someone else's work.
So the lawyers are trying to say that HHK fits that definition. And if they can, it means the creators were breaking the law by not registering with the SEC.
Exactly. They're claiming the whole thing was illegal and they're hoping to get their money back.
So what did Haley have to say about all of this?
Well, she said on X that she's fully cooperating with the lawyers and wants to help people who lost money. Even shared a link to the plaintiff's lawyers for anyone who wants to join the lawsuit.
It sounds like damage control. Trying to distance herself from the mess, but we'll see how that plays out in court. I mean, the whole situation raises so many questions about what influencers should or shouldn't be doing, especially with something as risky as cryptocurrency.
Yeah, the speed at which everything happened, the huge losses, the legal battle. It's a stark reminder that meme coins, this whole unregulated world, it's not a game. And it makes you think, what are the long-term consequences for influencers who get involved in this stuff?
That's a really good question, and one we're going to dive into right after we... Well, you know what? No break this time. Let's just keep going. There's a lot more to uncover in this story.
Sounds good to me. Let's get back to it. Yeah, no breaks needed. We've got a lot to cover still.
Right. Like before we jumped in, we were talking about Haley's response to the lawsuit and what this whole thing means for influencers who get involved with crypto. And it's kind of crazy how fast it all went down, right?
Oh, absolutely. From viral sensation to facing a major lawsuit, all in what, like a year or two? It's a whirlwind.
Yeah. And, you know, it's easy to get caught up in all the drama of the crash and the legal stuff.
Yeah.
But looking back at her story, I mean, she was just this small town girl from Tennessee.
Right.
To become a social media superstar with millions of followers.
Yeah.
It shows how the internet can create celebrities overnight, almost like snaps fingers just like that. And for her, it all started with that Hawk Tuah video.
Yeah, that video. It was just so, I don't know, quirky, unexpected, and totally relatable. Like she had this undeniable charm, this blend of like Southern hospitality with that Gen Z humor.
It's that authenticity that shines through.
Yeah, people were drawn to how genuine she seemed, you know, no pretense, just a girl next door who happened to, well, go viral.
And she rode that wave so well.
Right.
It's like you were saying earlier about influencer ethics. This whole HHK situation is like the ultimate case study. Think about it. She launched her podcast, Talk Tuah, and that thing blew up. Top 5 on Spotify.
Yeah.
She had guests like Mark Cuban, Wiz Khalifa, Whitney Cummings.
It really shows her ability to connect with people, especially Gen Z. I mean, she created this space where even huge celebrities felt comfortable opening up, being themselves. And beyond the podcast, Instagram, TikTok, millions of followers. She even threw the first pitch at a Mets game.
Wow, that's crazy. She even started that Gen Z dating app, Pookie Tools. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, with the AI matchmaking. Pretty innovative, especially back then. It felt like she was on this unstoppable rise, you know, always expanding her brand, trying new things. But then the crypto twist. And well, as we've seen, things took a very sharp turn.
It's almost like a Shakespearean tragedy, right?
Yeah.
The rapid rise, the sudden fall, the questions of ambition, trust, betrayal. Makes you wonder about the allure and the dangers of internet fame, especially when you mix in something as unpredictable as cryptocurrency.
Definitely. It's like, how do we navigate this world where fame comes so quickly, influence can be monetized in a flash, and the line between what's real and what's manipulated gets so blurry?
Yeah, it's a tough one. So before we get back to the HHK coin and the whole pump and dump thing, I think it's important to understand how Haley even got involved with crypto in the first place, right? Because from what I remember, she was pretty new to the whole scene.
Yeah, in some interviews, she even admitted she was skeptical at first, even called it a scam at one point, if you can believe that.
Really?
Yeah.
What changed her mind?
Well, she started going to these big crypto conferences, you know, meeting the big players and learning more about the tech. And remember, this was when everyone was talking about blockchain, the future of finance. It seems like she got caught up in the hype, just like a lot of people did.
And that's how she met the folks from over here, right? The Web3 developer that launched the HIWK meme coin with her.
Exactly. Over Here is a company based in Hong Kong. They saw Haley and her massive online following as this golden opportunity, a way to promote their new crypto project. They pitched HIWK as this bridge between the average person and the crypto world. And I think that appealed to Haley. You know, she always talked about connecting with her fans in new ways.
And to be fair, meme coins were and still are super popular, especially with Gen Z, like you said.
Yeah, they're tied to internet culture, memes, trends. It creates this sense of community, a shared experience. For a lot of people, it's their first entry point into the crypto world.
But as we saw with Hawk, that accessibility comes with a whole lot of risk. And this is where the story takes that dark turn.
Yeah, because while they were promoting Hawk as this way to connect with fans, build community, the pump and dump allegations suggest a completely different motive. And that's where CoffeeZilla, Stephen Findeisen comes in. He was really key in exposing what was happening.
Right, CoffeeZilla. He's known for his YouTube channel. He's always digging into scams, especially in the crypto world. I bet those videos were pretty eye-opening. So what did he uncover about Hawk?
Well, he basically accused Haley and her team of orchestrating this classic pump and dump scheme, using her influence to inflate the price of the coin and then selling off their own holdings before the whole thing crashed, leaving all these everyday investors with huge losses.
So he's saying the insiders knew what was going on. They were buying up HIWK before the public launch and then dumping it as soon as the price peaked.
That's exactly what he's saying. And he had evidence to back it up, too. Blockchain analysis, stuff like that showed coordinated selling from wallets linked to the project's creators. He also called out Haley for promoting the coin without really understanding the risks or disclosing her financial interests.
And how did Haley respond to all of that?
At first, she denied everything, said that she and her team didn't sell any HOK tokens, and that the price crash was all because of those automated sniper bots that take advantage of price changes.
But the evidence, especially the blockchain records, didn't really support her story. What was the reaction from the community?
Oh, people were furious. They felt lied to, betrayed, especially those who invested based on Haley's recommendation, her promises of building a community around the coin. That's what ultimately led to the lawsuit.
Right. 16 plaintiffs who felt like they were misled and lost a significant amount of money. They're arguing that HIIK was an unregistered security, illegally sold and promoted. And even though Haley wasn't named as a defendant, her role in promoting the coin, her ownership stake, it's definitely raising eyebrows. Do you think she could still face consequences?
It's possible. I mean, she's trying to distance herself from it all, saying she's cooperating with lawyers and all, but there's still a lot of skepticism. The lawsuit's ongoing, so it's hard to say how it'll turn out. But regardless of the legal stuff, this whole saga has already damaged her reputation, her career. It's a cautionary tale.
Yeah, it really highlights the risks involved, both for influencers and for investors.
Absolutely. It shows how important due diligence is, for everyone. Influencers need to do their research before promoting anything, especially financial products, and investors need to be cautious, especially when it comes to something as volatile as cryptocurrency.
Well said. This case has definitely given us a lot to think about. The world of cryptocurrency, influencer marketing, internet fame, it's all changing so rapidly. And what might have been acceptable a few years ago, it might not fly today.
It's a whole new landscape, and everyone, from influencers to investors to regulators, needs to adapt. We need more transparency, more accountability, more responsible decision-making.
Well, that's a perfect note to end on. To our listeners, as you explore the world of crypto and follow your favorite influencers, remember, be critical. Do your research, ask questions, don't be afraid to be skeptical. Right. Your financial well-being is in your hands. Invest wisely, stay informed, and thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time.
Yeah. So we've been talking about this need for greater transparency in the crypto world, especially when it comes to influencers like Haley Welch. What do you think the long-term implications of this whole HWK situation are going to be?
I think this case could be a real turning point. We might see regulators taking a much closer look at influencer marketing in the crypto space. Like, if they prove that HIIK was an unregistered security, it could really set a precedent for how influencers are held accountable for the things they're promoting.
So there could be stricter rules about what influencers can and can't say about crypto.
Potentially, yeah. Stricter disclosure requirements, guidelines for due diligence, maybe even penalties for influencers who mislead their followers. I wouldn't be surprised if regulators step in and try to bring some order to this whole crypto Wild West.
That makes sense. But it feels like this isn't just about crypto, right? it raises questions about influencer responsibility as a whole.
Oh, absolutely. Consumers are getting smarter, you know? They're demanding more authenticity from the people they follow online. If you're just blindly promoting products, not doing your research, not being transparent about your, financial ties, it can really damage your reputation. It's about building trust, not just chasing a quick buck.
It's about treating your audience like people.
Exactly.
So for influencers who are listening, what can they do to protect themselves and their followers? I mean, especially in a space like crypto that's moving so fast.
Due diligence, that's the key. Before you promote anything, especially something as volatile as crypto, do your homework, Understand the technology, the team behind it, the risks involved, the legal side of things. If you don't get it, don't promote it. Simple as that.
Education is key.
Big time. And transparency, too. Influencers need to be upfront about any financial relationships they have. Payments, equity stakes, whatever it is, your followers deserve to know.
It's about honesty and respect.
Yeah, for sure. Building genuine relationships.
Well, I think that's a great place to leave it. This whole HAWK situation, with all its twists and turns, has given us a lot to think about. The world of crypto, influencers, internet fame. It's a constantly evolving landscape, and what might have been okay a few years ago is definitely not okay today.
It's true. Things change quickly.
So to everyone listening, as you continue exploring the world of crypto and following your favorite influencers, just remember, be critical, do your research, don't be afraid to ask questions, and if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Your financial well-being is your responsibility. Invest wisely, stay informed, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive. Thanks for listening, everyone.
See you next time.